I hate how stereo automatically forces you to talk to somebody. Did I say I wanted a co-host? I don't want a co-host. But if people come in here, that's cool. So I'm doing another off the cuff bonus episode. My name is Shan. Okay, I'm recording this on the stereo app. It has a lot of kids on here, which is disheartening because nobody that used to do this app really wants to use this app because of all these kids on here. But anywho, you can find me on shanbypodden.com. And I'm about to close out season 19 of She Gets It Pod. I started it in 2018 and I've been running my trap ever since. Okay. Originally, it was called She Gets It. But when you put up She Gets It, you see a whole bunch of people with She Gets It podcast as if they couldn't come up with another name. Okay. Because I sure had it first. So I just added pod on the end of mine to separate myself. I have a car show to go to tomorrow. My favorite brother invited me to his car show. He's cooking. That's mostly the reason why I'm going. I really don't care about the cars that they put together, soup up. I'm a old school caddy type of girl, SS type of girl. Give me a vintage Jeep type of girl. And most of my brothers hate American cars, so I don't know why. I think the only reason I am going to that car show tomorrow is because I see the message. I'm gonna play it. My brother is cooking, so he's cooking at the shop and he's having a car show at the same time. So I'm gonna pop in there. Who we got?
Where is this car show? Where are you located? Hey, Chan, what's going
What's
on? I get it.
up?
Ebenezer in the building, checking in, bad boy stereo. Let's
Yes,
go.
up. So this car show is in Ellenwood, Georgia, and my brother's car shop. And he's having people bring in cars, and he specializes in like BMW, Mercedes, Bentleys, and they're bringing in a lot of different cars and stuff. So I was at the shop today, helping him set up, and so yeah. So if you in Georgia and you got a BMW and you interested in them things, there's gonna be a lot of people there tomorrow. He's Jamaican, so don't even let me get you started on a lie about what time it's gonna start. But tonight, I'm just doing like a short vent of 10 things. If you're gonna start a podcast like this, don't, because it's completely unnecessary to do it how it's already been done. All right. So number 10, I think if you're going to do a podcast in 2023, I think you should do your research and stop being lazy about the show. Listen to different shows, see what you like, see what you don't like, and then base what you want to talk about that you already like talking about on a regular, so it's not forced, on something new that hasn't been done, so it could be fresh so people would want to listen to it. Number 9, if you are going to do a podcast about men versus women or women versus men BS, please don't, because really it's a whole bunch of people trying to date or get with people that don't like them, and then when they try to force it or make themselves phony in order to get somebody, and then they figure out that they're being phony and they treat you bad, now you got shit to say. They didn't like you for real in the first place, and you knew that. That's why you put up that front. I need people to start putting their energy in people that actually like them, and that person reciprocates the same energy. If you are constantly doing the most, if you are constantly paying, if you are constantly showing up, that person does not like you. And that goes for men and women. A lot of men have in their heads that, oh, I want this type of woman, I want her body to look like this, but you don't even know what you want her character to be like. Sometimes y'all be excusing a fine woman's nasty ass attitude and character for the fact that she got a fat ass. Let me tell you, in 2023, Anybody can buy a fat ass. In 2023, a lot of women are in relationships having single men that want them in a sexual way, paying for their bodies to get done. So if you don't want to be used as a man in 2023, start talking to women that actually like you. And a lot of times it's men that don't want the women that like them. They want the women that they like. And then when they get with the women that they like that don't really like them, they complaining about women ain't shit. And then the same thing on the women's side. Women do all this shit. You see how this man is with other women. You see all the women want him. You finally get him, and you tired of playing defense and fighting off women. You tired of going in his phone. You tired of putting Apple AirTags in his car. You tired of listening to his lies today. You tired of checking with his mom to see what you can do to make it better. You can't do shit to make it better. He want to cheat because he don't really like you, but he like the fact that you will wash his clothes, will clean his house, will take care of his kids that ain't yours, will do above and beyond shit for his mama, but he don't really fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? So be with people that you like, but don't do a whole podcast on men ain't X, Y, and Z, and don't do a whole podcast on women ain't X, Y, and Z. It's pointless. Okay, grow up. We are both the problem. Men and women are the problem. Okay. Number 8, you talking about everyone's kids who are celebrities and they are not listening. So who are you talking to? Because I'm gonna tell you right now. My life is not celebrity status. I don't care about what a celebrity is doing with their kids. I don't care if the fact that they're Nick Cannon and they got 12 kids all over the place. That is not my business. I didn't sign no contracts to have Nick Cannon's baby. I don't care about how Nick Cannon's going to make it work. I don't care about none of that stuff. I don't care about Gabrielle Union and Homeboy, what they doing with their child. That's not my business. We're not even in the same bracket and they're not listening to me. So who are y'all talking to? Stop sitting on here wasting your lippage, okay, if that's a word, on talking about other people's kids and you ain't even in the same bracket. They not listening. And I'm gonna tell you, the people that have to clock in and clock out every goddamn day in order to get their bills paid, we don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck. All right. Number 7. If you are going to start a podcast and you're just going to talk about things that you don't even fucking believe in just to troll the internet for clicks because you really have nothing really going on, please don't. There's enough people on the internet trolling, saying certain left things for clickbait because, if I say this on the show, if I say I don't take baths, then this is going to get like a million clicks. If I say, I don't brush my teeth only on special occasions, and a whole bunch of people are click on this. Y'all are thirsty. Y'all are thirsty for attention. And let me tell you this: a male, a man that is thirsty for attention gives me very much feminine vibes. And if that's not the vibe you're trying to give, I'm gonna need men to calm down and really be into what they're really into and stop screaming on the internet for attention. Stop, complaining about the fact that women don't do this and women don't do that and nobody's paying me attention. Go do something productive. Y'all are not supposed to be the main stage in every conversation. When did a whole generation of men want to be famous for dancing all the goddamn time? Everybody can't dance. You can't be the next one up and be famous for dancing. And I think, although I do love TikTok, I feel like TikTok is a super culprit for making people feel like they can get away with getting famous off of dancing. And most of the time, y'all dance horribly. Okay? Everybody can't sing. I know I can't sing and be famous. I can't dance and be famous. I'm not trying to get on no contest show for no damn cook off. I cook what I cook, and what I don't cook, I don't cook. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be on The Bachelorette pimping myself on national TV so my family can see how I'm kissing a guy that just kissed 15 women today. Like y'all really are like, how much will you give me if I trade my morals? Y'all are embarrassing. I'm so glad I'm not related to nobody that's like attention hungry on the fucking internet or attention hungry on TV, because I would be so embarrassed. I would be like, no, we are not related. No, that is not my mom. No, that is not my brother. Mm-mm, mm-mm, no relation. Yeah, I know the last names are similar, but no relation. Mm-mm. Like, I'm not claiming none of that shit. And the fact that nobody is embarrassed by the bullshit they be pulling amazes me. It fucking amazes me. But moving on. Number 6. If you are thinking about starting a podcast like this, do not. If you are thinking about starting a podcast and it really sounds like you need a fucking therapist, but you're talking to us, please go seek out therapy. Go seek out therapy. If you work in corporate, most corporate companies will pay for your first 5 sessions of therapy just on the company's dime. And if you need to continue it, most of the time, your good ass insurance that's coming out your check every month will go ahead and pay for that therapy session every 2 weeks or once a month, however much you need to go. But a lot of y'all really need a diary. A lot of y'all really need good friends that you ain't got to be phony with, or a good therapist before you turn this mic on. A lot of y'all are giving like, oh, you really got problems vibes. And most of the time, yeah, you got listeners, because majority of people in this world would rather see someone else's life shittier than theirs. Would rather hear that someone else's life is shittier than theirs. So it's not that you have listeners for your show because it's great. People are dying to hear how shitty your day was, so they're tuning in. That's why people watch soap operas. That's why people watch this fake reality TV. A lot of women are selling their souls for reality TV. Why? Because instead of me figure out what my purpose is and my talent, I'm going to dress up, become bankrupt, and act like my life is amazing on national television for a check. Y'all are fucking embarrassing. We have a message.
Not to cut you off, Chan, but I feel like if a person is venting on a podcast, I feel like this is a perfect channel to practice. But yeah, sometimes people do get emotional and they do get overwhelmed by, other people's hurt. And sometimes hurt people. And when there's hurt like that, you can hear the pain that they're going through. That's why they vent on here like that. Some people take it differently, but it'd be funny as hell. But yeah, I like this advice though. Shout out to Chan. Let's go.
Thank you, thank you. And I have no problem with people who are venting while in the situation of some shit. I think that's cool, that's human, that's relatable. But if we on the 6th episode of you venting about how you can't find nobody and you're lonely and you feel like shit, and then your 7th episode is, I'm up, my whole life is up. Why wouldn't anybody want to date me? You are teeter tottering left and right. Last week you felt like shit. You said you was shit, and this week you just saying you're amazing. Everybody is dumb for not talking to you. You need to find some balance in your life. When you're a great person, you don't have to yell at the top of your lungs, I'm a great person. When you're a catch, you don't need to let everybody know that you're a catch. Whoever sees you for you is going to see that you're a fucking catch. This whole conversation that's been had for the last 2 years on different shows and social media about what you're bringing to the table. Why the fuck would I explain to a million strangers about what I bring to the table when they probably ain't got a table I want to bring it to? Nobody cares. What's up, Brianna? Nobody cares about what you're bringing to the table unless they want you to bring something to their particular table. Like, shut up about that and find something else to talk about. If you're making a podcast about this, number 5, a podcast talking about the same issue for your last 6 episodes. How do we just fall into that? Like, I don't want to keep hearing about how you can't find a job on every episode that you have. I don't want to keep hearing about how, you know, you need some more money. We all need money. We all need more money. I was just talking about this because I was watching a documentary on I think it's on Netflix or Showtime about people working and how people in the service sector of work so fucking hard to clean up after grown ass people who are nasty, to take care of the elderly, and they getting paid $9 an hour. They getting paid $9 an hour with no benefits to take care of elderly people for 9+ hours a day, and they still can't cover their bills. And so the reality is a lot of us are crying and whining about the fact that I only make 53K. The average salary for most Americans is 25K per year. And I'm not going to get into where you live or you know the the I put it like this. I truly believe, and I've been working ever since I was 16. I truly believe that the minimum wage should be $22 an hour for it to make sense for Americans, period. I feel like that should be like the bare minimum that any company should be able to pay anybody. But what's so crazy is these fucking companies are so selfish and so greedy and so prideful that they would rather their employees have to live out of their car. But please show up here with a good attitude and do a great job and give quality. Nobody's going to give fucking quality in their job and be honest about it if they cannot make their ends meet at home. They're not. If people are not peaceful, your employees are not happy, they're not comfortable when they go home, and they're having anxiety attacks in the parking lot before they walk through your door. How are you going to be like, oh, I hope we get better clients this year. I hope more people come to our company for our business when your employees aren't happy. And someone on that fucking documentary had the nerve to say, this is how we view our company. We want our company quality first, then our clients our first priority, then our employees. Bitch, you got it all wrong. If it's your company first, your employees help make the company money. So it should be your company, make sure our employees are happy and well taken care of and know their job so they can provide quality to your clients and your clients help. And that's where these companies have it messed up. You can't put the employees as priority number 3 and put the clientele as number 1. That shit don't make no sense. I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'm not happy doing my job, I'm not coming. And I'm not gonna say my company will fall to the pits of hell if I didn't show up. They won't. Yo, if you looking to support She Gets It Shop, that's cool. I like that. And I think it's gonna look good on you. I got new t-shirts, I got stickers, I got lighter color hoodies for the springtime people who still like hoodies or sweatshirts, whatever your deal is. And even if you like mugs, I got you on that too. Check out She Gets It Shop with Teespring. Now back to the show. My company that I work for nets about $6.3 billion each year, and that shit keep going up, and they don't give a fuck. They might talk to me once, they might talk to me twice about the fact that I called out, but there's 100 people every 2 months trying to get into the seat that I'm in at my company. There's nothing about my position that's special. I don't feel like nobody else can't do my job. I really feel like my 9-year-old could do my job. And this whole idea of the fact that you need college in order to get a job. You don't fucking need college to get nan job in America. Now, if you're trying to be a doctor, if you're trying to build planes, if you're a chemist, maybe you need to take your ass to college. But if it ain't that, your ass don't need college. You need to do research. You need to read. You need to get out in life and have some experience. And I guarantee you, you can do it. College was such a waste of my fucking money and time. Oh my God. But let's move on. Because I don't even want to get into that right now. If you're gonna make a podcast, number 4, maybe we might, maybe we not podcast. I can't stand when podcasters have all this extra energy and they think podcasting is so easy, and they don't understand that podcasting is 20% of making the podcast, like physically doing it, and the rest is like marketing, research, promoting, merch, how you're going to make money, how you're going to collaborate with people, scheduling. And a lot of people don't want to do that shit. So most people that the majority see that are always doing a great job at podcasting, or they're making a lot of money doing podcasting, because there's a lot of money in it, but they have a fucking team of people helping them. Most of them use AI. They don't even research what they're talking about. They have a system where they just tell it, I want to talk about stuffed animals today. And the system automatically looks up stuffed animals in 4 minutes, builds a write up, a post, schedule that shit out. And it looks like, oh, this person really knows podcasting. Most podcasters don't know shit about audio. Most podcasters don't have a high price mic. Most podcasters never been to a studio. Most podcasters don't know the goals of what they want to do with the podcast, but they have consistency. They are honest with whoever's listening. Like, you can easily create a podcast and not have a professional mic as long as you have an iPhone and you're using a software that has enhancements to make you sound clearer and your voice higher. People won't even tell you ain't got a mic. For the first year and a half of me doing podcasting in 2018, I had no mic. I was using the cord headphones for iPhone with my iPhone 11. That's what I was using. And it sounded clear as I don't know what. So I think because of all the things you can do in podcasting now, people overthink it. But if you're going to start a podcast and say, oh, every week we going to do X, Y, and Z, and then you only did one episode all month, and then turn around and be like, I don't know if I want to do it because it's not really doing numbers. It ain't doing numbers because you ain't doing work. It ain't doing numbers because you're not consistent. You're basically lying to your listeners that you're going to do something that you can't even show up for. So most of the times I tell people, if they want to start a podcast, don't tell your listeners shit about when you're going to do it. Just have 5 episodes already scheduled in the cut. Maybe you want to drop an episode per week just for starters to see who your audience is, what their age is, where they listening from most. And then maybe you want to talk about what the hell is going on in New York, because 50% of my listeners are in New York, right? Maybe you want to talk about what 30-year-olds are worried about, because that's 62% of your listeners. Like, there is a reason why there is analytics for who's listening to your show or who's watching your show, because you can watch podcasts too on YouTube. My life is just not built for me to sit and watch podcasting on YouTube. I might watch it probably twice a month, but I don't have time to sit and watch podcasters. But some people just want to do that. And some people just want to listen to them. I'm a listener. I listen to multiple podcasts. Some of them are friends of mine, some of them aren't. I listen to different shows because I don't want to keep giving the same technique if there's something I want to try or something I want to do. So if you're not into learning and getting better in podcasting, and you just think it's a joke and you just want to just sloppily throw shit out there, then do what you do. But don't turn around and be like, I don't know why it's not making money. I'm not getting any new listeners. The numbers aren't growing because you're not doing shit with the feedback from who's listening to your show. You're not checking in with them. You're not in conversation on TikTok with them in the comments or Instagram. You don't thank them for listening. You don't read any of your reviews. So why would they leave a review if you don't read it? Like, there's so many things that go into getting the right feedback from your podcast in order for it to be great that people don't do, but they complain about the numbers. So it gets exhausting, but don't be an off and on podcast. Number 3, if you're going to start a podcast, an unorganized crew of multiple people, but you doing all the work. If you are scared to be a leader of a crew podcast, and if you are scared to call the people out in your group and be like, hey, you supposed to be doing the marketing side, you supposed to be handling the merch, you supposed to be keeping up with the schedule, and I'm supposed to be editing the show. And we all supposed to show up at the studio on Sunday to do 3 episodes, and you ain't been showing up for the last 2. If you can't call people out, you're going to feel the weight of trying to carry a whole podcast, because people see that if they don't want to do it, such and such is going to get it done. Let me tell you something. I don't podcast with a group of people that are completely lazy. Like, the most people that I podcast with on a podcast for So What Page We On Bid, it's a book club, is two of my friends, but we're friends in real life. And one of them, they don't do no marketing whatsoever. They just come on the show, right? And the other one, he does marketing sometimes, right? He'll push out some stuff. He'll push out merch. He'll talk to people on the internet. He'll bring in new listeners. But for the most part, I'll um, set up the show. I'll edit the show. I'll come up with the show artwork. I'll do the write up. I'll post it. I do the merch, but I'm okay with that because I know that I'm the best one to do it. But if I needed extra help, I'm not going to be scared to say I need extra help. What I can't stand is people that are in a group podcast, but they put all the work on one person. And when they put all the work on one person, that person usually doesn't speak up for themselves, but they complain to other people that really give a fuck. And so I'd be like, hey, if you as a podcaster are in a group and you cannot delegate to the people that you are in a podcast group with, you need not to be in a group podcast with them. You need to focus on your solo show. You need to focus on your solo projects, because I cannot stand dragging somebody to do something they don't want to do. I have 2 kids. I'm not, if you don't want to go to the park, sis, we ain't got to go to the park. I'm not going to force you to go to the park. I'm not going to tell you to run around and have fun if you don't want to have fun. I got things to do at the house. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about unorganized crews, especially if, you doing a podcast is a really great topic, but because nobody on the podcast respects each other when they're speaking, I can't even hear the points that's being made because y'all talking over each other. And so a lot of times people will have a great podcast, great topics, a great discussion, but I can't hear shit because it sounds like a whole bunch of grown men yelling in a locker room. You know what I'm saying? And nobody really edits that out the right way. So that's my number 3. If you are going to do an unorganized crew podcast, please do not. I can't. Number 2, if you have the idea to do another motherfucking gossip podcast, please do not. I think enough of this generation waste their time on gossip, waste their time on talking about celebrity shit. Again, you don't even live, you can't even sniff the bracket of life that they are living. Why are you in conversation about it? You know what I'm saying? If you're a celebrity and you have celebrities come on your show and you want to have a conversation about celebrity life, do that because that's clearly your lane. But if I'm going to a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, I don't want to talk about what Nicki Minaj got going on in her marriage. I don't want to talk about who's pregnant again, uh, and why Kim Kardashian is crying about the fact that she got 4 kids and it's so hard. Girl, you made yourself a baby mom on purpose because you thought it was cute. And then when you divorce someone that you shouldn't have married in the first place, now you crying about it? I don't want to hear it. Go wipe your face with $1 million because you got it like that. You know what I'm saying? But to sit and make another gossip podcast that we don't need it. Okay? We don't need it. So keep that. And number one, my number one thing, if you're going to start a podcast like this, please do not stop trying to start a podcast with an idea that's already being used. It's so boring. It's crusty. We don't need it. We're not going to be excited about it. Don't use a basic name that's going to get lost in the sauce of podcasting. Um, Please research the name that you want to use so you're not sued. You could go on the trademark website and research it. If it's being used, Google it. Stop asking people on Twitter, what do you think a good podcast name for me would be? I hate that. I hate people on Twitter that says, do you know any podcast shows I should listen to? Any podcast recommendation? When I see that shit, I'm just like spam, 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 block, block, block. Because reality speaking is, if I was looking for podcasts talking about music creation, I could just Google a hoe. Why am I on Twitter asking people who are tweeting about other shit about podcasting when I could use the best search engine and find what I'm talking about? So I gave y'all 10 things that you should not be doing regarding podcasting. If you're looking for any podcast tips, you can hit me up at Shambi Poddin on Twitter, Shambi Poddin on IG, and Shambi Poddin on TikTok. I do have podcast books to go ahead and assist with people who are actively, consistently doing their podcast and want to get better and want to organize, but they just have issues on how to do it. I have a podcast journal. I got a podcast journal for just questions that you want to ask people that may come on your podcast. I have a podcast book that helps you figure out how to do the merch, how to set up your TikTok, how to set up your Twitter, how to set up your IG. I'm just a resource type of girl. I don't feel like hogging information that other people could use to be great makes any goddamn sense. So I'm going to share it. I'm not somebody that's going to do something, you DM me about it and be like, hey, how can I do X, Y, and Z and not tell you? I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to do the work for you. Okay, there's plenty of companies still out here paying people to market stuff, to do promotions on their podcast. But companies want to see that you're consistent by yourself. Companies want to see that you market yourself in a great way and you know how to connect with people. The more you do that in podcasting, the better that you'll be. The more you do that in like Instagram or TikTok or even your Twitter, you know how to get into conversation and get feedback from people. Companies are going to peep it, they're going to reach out to you. You don't have to beg companies for anything if you're consistently doing the work. Okay, I have made hundreds, maybe even a little over thousands with different companies just doing what I do on a daily basis, whether it's posting, whether it's asking questions, whether it's doing podcast shows. Is companies out here willing to work with you as long as you're willing to work, but companies do not want to drag your hand through all of the work every time because there's other people that want to do it that will do it. Now, I got things to do. It is clearly Saturday morning. I have to go to sleep. But listen, I appreciate everybody for listening. If you are going to podcasts, You can do it without spending a lot of money. Don't get overwhelmed by all the information. Just do your Googles, do your research, and do some shit that you actually enjoy talking about. Don't do what you think is going to get clicks, because that'll lead to burnout. And if we go into another shutdown, just like a lot of podcasters fell off because nobody was doing anything that they could know about and they have nothing to talk about, that's going to happen again. Like, create your content. Ain't nothing wrong with doing write ups. Ain't nothing wrong with doing research. Ain't nothing wrong with venting sometimes. But keep it spontaneous, keep it exciting. Allow people to learn something about what you're talking about it and learn something about you. My name is Shan. I appreciate y'all. Peace. I'm done. I'm gone. I gotta go wash dishes and put away food. Adulting is just not what I thought it was going to be. Jesus.
Damn. She fucking gets it.